and welcome to another ship review. Today we will talk about Navy Thrasher. This is another very popular ship in faction warfare, especially if you fly in Amar Minmatar warzone. Overall, I think it is the fourth most popular ship for solo PvP in faction warfare, behind only Navy Catalyst, Comet and Hookbill. The win rates are quite respectable. I think it's generally considered that Navy Thrasher is a bit weaker than Navy Catalyst, but as usual with Minmatar ships, you maybe get slightly worse platform, but you get a more flexible platform that you can use in multiple roles. So we will talk about that in detail. I think the first thing what I want to point out is that Thrasher Navy is not a direct upgrade of Tech 1 Thrasher. So when we talk about Catalyst and Navy Catalyst, essentially Navy Catalyst is just an upgraded Catalyst. But Navy Thrasher has a couple of features that kind of differ this ship from the Tech 1 variant. So if you look at the bonuses, you will see that damage, rate of fire, optimal range are all the same, but Navy Thrasher does not have a bonus to tracking, unlike Tech 1 Thrasher, which has a very powerful bonus to tracking. And in general, it means that Navy Thrasher is not as comfortable at close range fights with artillery, against frigates especially, because it will be much easier for them to break tracking. And when you can see that Navy Thrasher has additional bonus to macro warp drive signature radius, and these two differences kind of point Navy Thrasher towards kiting a bit more than Tech 1 Thrasher. You can kite in Tech 1 Thrasher as well, but it will be quite a bit worse when in the Navy Thrasher. Okay, so you have a couple of archetypes that are possible with a Navy Thrasher. Both autocannons and artillery are equally popular. So if you fit autocannons, it means that it will be a brawling archetype, and the fit will be essentially the same as with brawling Tech 1 Thrasher. You will get, of course, more tank, and you will get additional low slot, but overall it's essentially just the same but upgraded. If you go with artillery, then you can fit either a web kiting or a kiting fit. So, and here is the difference between Tech 1 Thrasher and Navy Thrasher. With Tech 1 Thrasher, usually if you fit artillery, you either do it in a web kiting 10-man fit, or you just do it with double web, no point, maximum DPS, almost like a brawling fit, and you very rarely kite. But in Navy Thrasher, if you fit artillery, the main archetype will be kiting with macro warp drive. Overall, you can fit very good tank, one of the best tanks among Navy destroyers. Damage is of course a bit worse than on blaster platforms, so Navy Catalyst or a Navy Cormorant will be able to outbrawl you, and control is fairly typical, I would say, for any destroyer. You get 3 medium slots, which is normal for most destroyers, so you get propulsion, web and tackle as usual. Now in terms of your engagement profile, as usual with Navy destroyers, you can fight any Tech 1 and Tech 1 destroyer and Tech 1 frigate very easily. Against Navy destroyers, I think Navy Thrasher is a bit worse than Navy Catalyst on average. It will be better in some matchups and will be a bit worse in other matchups, but like on average I think it's a bit worse. But it's a bit better against Navy frigates than Navy catalysts, because it's not as vulnerable to being hard controlled by multiple webs and tracking disruptors. And it's also quite a bit better against assault frigates, for obvious reasons, because you have selectable damage, and it is crucial against Tech 2 resists. But overall, as you have seen on the previous slide, 72% win rate is very competitive, so this ship is quite good. Now let's look at the feats. We will start with a brawling archetype. There are 3 variations of this feat. The one with a hull tank, with a shield tank, and with an armor tank. We will go with the feat that I think is the best to the feat that I think is the worst, but all 3 of them are viable and good enough to use, so this is why I will show them to you. So the feat that I think is the best is the hull tanked Thrasher Navy, and the feat is quite straightforward. You have DPS, you have standard micro warp drive, web scrum for control, and you have damage control plus 2 Garrus tabs and tank in rigs. You can fit a newt in the high slots. It actually works in any of these feats, but I think that it's generally more useful to have more DPS, because the optimal range of your newt is very small. If you can use it effectively, it means that you are brawling, and if you are brawling in an autocannon Navy Thrasher, the fight is not gonna go long enough for a single newt to make any difference anyway. So I think it makes more sense to just add more DPS. Now there are 2 reasons why I think this feat is the best. First, it gives you pretty good control because you have a web in the medium slot, and at the same time your speed doesn't suffer like in the armor tank version. And the second reason is that you have a universal resists for your tank. When you go shield or armor, it's always will be a bit of a coin flip against some of our opponents that can pick the damage. If they shoot into the resist hole, your feat will be worse than the hull tank with universal resists. The second version is the shield tanked. So this is essentially a copy of Tech 1 autocannon Thrasher, just with a damage control in the additional low slot. This feat has the highest tank to DPS, but it's very one-dimensional. Essentially, you need to get as close as possible and apply as much damage as possible quickly, because your control is essentially non-existent. And this feat also has resist holes in EM, and particularly in thermal if you plug your EM resist hole. And in the current meta, a lot of ships will shoot thermal damage into you, so like coercers, catalysts, and so on and so forth. So I think this one is a bit less flexible. And the armor version I like the least. It has a little bit more tank in terms of hit points, but your DPS is quite a bit worse and your speed is a bit worse. So I think if you need a web for additional control, you just go with full tank, and if you need like maximum DPS, then you go with a shield tank. Probably the only way why this feat can be considered is that it kinda goes against the meta. Many Thrashers, like Navy Thrashers, will be shield tanked, and when your opponents will think that you are likely shield tanked or hull tank, and they will use EM damage against you, because this is the way you should fight against Navy Thrashers, shield tanked and hull tank Navy Thrashers. But if you go with armor, then the EM is the worst damage against you, and in this case your feat actually will work better than if you fit hull tank version. The next archetype is the kiting Navy Thrasher. You need 280mm artillery, Mecha Warp Drive Warp Disruptor, and your main tank is hull tank, so damage control plus 3 bulkheads. Typically this feat uses tracking disruptor, in particular if you fight in position, because tracking disruptor gives you good damage mitigation in the most crucial matchups, like against Navy Courser and Rail Navy Catalyst. But if you fight out of position, or if you fight against frigates, then you may swap tracking disruptor for a web. It is also possible to fit 2 gyrostabs, but you will need to fit a power grid rig. So all of these variations are feasible, it just depends on your position and your position in Plex. The final archetype is the web kiting Thrasher. I think it's a bit weaker than the brawling or pure kiting feats, mostly because it directly competes with Tech 1 web kiting Thrasher, and I think that bonuses on Tech 1 Thrasher are a bit better for this archetype. In particular, you generally want a tracking bonus for web kiting setups, because you will be relatively close to your opponent, and frigates with heavy control may mitigate against a Navy Thrasher without tracking bonus. But I think it's still good enough to show you. So the feat is essentially a copy of a web kiting Tech 1 Thrasher, just with an extra low slot. So 250mm artillery, overprop, afterburner, web and warp disruptor, and then damage and tank in low slots. The tank is again hull tank is your primary choice for this feat, because you need all 3 modules in medium slots for control. Okay, so these were the main feats for the Navy Thrasher. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next ship review.